This is a real shit show. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Chris. Chris, you're keeping me right. You are the first person here, and hopefully you have saved my life a bit. This has all gone tits up really fast. Oh dear. Ken, am I working? No. Oh. Okay, let me try this out. I might need to jump ship again. You're getting a tour of my flat now, which is more doxing than I was slightly prepared to do today. Again. Oh, is it good? Are we good? You're getting a tour of my flat now, which is more doxing than I was slightly prepared to do today. Oh, is it good? Are we good? Is there a... Okay, I'm going to go get beers. Right, okay. I'm going to get my beers, which I took over to somewhere else. I'm going to bring them back here, and then we're going to chat about some stuff. I don't know what, actually, but we'll figure shit out. I'm prepared. Okay, yeah, I think I could hear the feedback, but that was just me to check on the audio shit. It may be it's gone now. If it hasn't gone, I have no idea where it's coming from because I'm wearing headphones. Oh. Okay, right. That's my own fault for listening back through headphones for some reason. How are you both doing? Who is anybody here? I'm going to tweet this out again. Okay. So, I was going to do a little spiel just because, yeah, my hair is curly. Yeah, it's been 1 year to the day since I started this blog. It has had nearly like 30,000 views, 300 likes, nearly 200 comments. There's 86 followers. We've done how many blog posts? 192 blog posts. A couple of radio shows. What blows my mind the most, rather than just bragging about shit that's people have fed into the blog, is I looked at the word count today for the first time. I'd never done that before, and it said that I've churned out 250,000 words in 12 months, which I guess includes quotes and things, but that made me have feelings, I think. And so, as much as this might be a slightly self-indulgent thing to do, to live stream and drink beer with you fine internet folk, that feels like a bit of an achievement. I don't have work tomorrow. I don't know where my girlfriend is. I think she's at leaving drinks from her work. So it's just me, a load of beer, and you guys. And Justin Murphy's going to have a stream in about an hour. I don't know who he's talking to. So I thought maybe we could have a chat, or if you guys are in the comments, you want to talk about some shit. I'm going to keep drinking, and then I'm going to watch Justin's stream and maybe just heckle him and be drunk and shit and be unruly. I don't know. Hey, Goldfire, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I didn't have much of a plan for this. I had some ideas. I thought maybe I could like send out a Google Hangout link. Well, I mean, I'm going to say this, and then it would feel like I have to do it, which I feel like would be a mistake, because oh yeah, I did say I was going to interview. I said I was. Well, that's partly what I was thinking of. So I was thinking, I think when I knew this birthday was coming up, I was going to interview or just ask people questions that have got blogs. I didn't end up doing that. I should have gotten around to it. I'm like really bad at keeping up with people. Like the blog is a way that I get out of my own head, and just write shit down. And that feels like I always feel like there's this sense that people assume that when I'm not doing something, if I'm not working or being alive outside, I'm writing, and that's like a thing, like a conscious thing that I've chosen to do. But it doesn't really work like that. I just kind of write whenever I've got a moment. So to actually plan a blog post that involves other people is something really weird, and that takes like logistics. Whereas despite writing 250,000 words, that happens quite naturally rather than actually having to plan talking to people. So that didn't happen, unfortunately. But something I was thinking about doing was just putting like a Google Hangout link here, and like have like speed fire 10-minute interviews with like whoever wants to chat with me, like on this channel. Do like a super fast Justin Murphy speed dating style interview shit. Goldfire says, me and Ed Berger need to do a dad rock power hour of your e-radio show. That is true. Me and Ed need to do things like in generally. I got really, really drunk a few months ago and said that me and Ed I said to Ed that we should write a book together. and he was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. And then 6 hours later, my head imploded. And that didn't happen. But I need to do more with Ed, because Ed is an absolute legend. Accelerate the Murph. That's a horrifying phrase to say out loud, but also, yes. I wonder how. I don't think it. I think it's very difficult to. I don't think you could be Justin Murphy other than if you are Justin Murphy. I don't know how you could orchestrate this whole amazing saga, this whole soap opera of a life without having just everything that he has got going on in his life. I feel like I could do that, and I've literally got nothing to lose. No one that I work with knows that I do this. Everyone that I know from my old degree knows that I do this. It's both the best and worst kept secret I've ever had. and now I'm live streaming on the birthday. So much for anonymity. So yeah, I don't know. Does anyone want to just come and chat if I find a Google Hangout link? Does anyone want to have like a 10-minute chat and then and I'm going to be brutal. I'm going to be like 10 minutes. Let's shoot the breeze, and then once 10 minutes is gone, you are ejected, and the next person comes in. Because that's like a goal. And I mean, I said that I was going to say that. I mean, I have to do it. The problem with that is that I've just tried to live stream myself alone, and that took about 10 minutes of faffing with shit. So maybe that's not the best idea. But if you're up for it, Chris, Neural, Bill Fire, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Who wants to? What does anyone want to chat about? I'm already a bit pissed. This is a really bad idea. Okay, cool. Right, I'm gonna see if it's even possible because I don't know anything about computers, which is really bad. I always thought this about a lot of the CCIU lot. I wondered if I remember having this with talking to Kojo about things and having to explain emails to Kojo when dude, you're a black accelerator, you're a black, an Afrofuturist accelerationist dude. How are you asking me how emails work? I'm saying black accelerationist there because that Twitter account is like lurking in the back of my mind now constantly. It's like an intrusive thought. Whoever runs that is deeply cursed. How the fuck does Google Hangouts work? Okay. Oh God. I mean, I've seen a few tweets from that site and I run away. I find it slightly terrifying. But I've heard everyone saying very good things about it. I think I need to dive in. But there's only so much I feel like you can take. Who was that guy that got banned that was began with a W? Not Wint. Or I don't know. He would come out with some crazy shit. I think Cocky would had a whole thread once of just his tweets, and I followed it for a week at a time. Yeah, that guy. I think. Yeah, Victor. That's it. That guy. Yeah. Yeah, that guy was that. That's what I feel like that account is like. Black Accelerationist is like Victor. You can only take so much. It is the ultra black pill following that account. Okay. That's true. Yeah, the memories of his tweets will live on forever. He is now mortal. I agree with you. Because something tweeted never dies. Tweets can never be deleted. We have to remember that. Okay. Hillfire, what's your story? Where are you from? What's your game? I feel like I've been following you for a while now. I like you. What do you do? That's never true. You're just shy. Or you don't want to dox yourself, which is also fine. I have very much decided that my face is fair game, but none of you are finding out anything that I do with my life other than on my blog, because I don't know. Oversharing is a disease that I am trying to recover from. I feel like this was a huge mistake because I just have Justin in the back of my head all the time. I don't know how when he warms up an audience, I don't know how he just talks at himself for 30 minutes. It's a real skill that maybe he does what I do. Maybe he's doing what I do now and he just drinks before he chats to anybody. But he's far too lucid at the same time. Or maybe that's the point. He's definitely not lucid at the moment. Maybe Justin's here, or maybe he's got his own shit to do. I sometimes think that I don't know how thick or thin the walls are in my flat, and every time I do like an interview like this, like whether it's with Justin or with Meta Nomad or the weird patchwork talk, I just think that everyone must think I'm insane. And I talk to myself about things because I'm obviously not having a conversation. We have 10 people here now. Hello. People who are in the room, introduce yourselves in the chat. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm drinking beer, and we need topics. Yeah, where's Neural Shroud? How do Google Hangouts work? What do I do? This is like a live Curious Cat. That's what I thought this would be, and that's a terrible idea. Hey, no rush at all, Neural, because even if you were ready to go and set up, I don't know what I'm doing. There were rumors about Justin smoking crack. That's true. I just think I don't want to speculate about the guy when he's not here. This kind of feels like I'm definitely not leaving this video public when it's down, because that was a legacy that I don't want to have. This is a one night only special. And also, what's to say Justin isn't here now, thinking that now I'm just starting to feel really uncomfortable and really aware of the fact that I'm videoing myself in my flat on my own with beer, and there's 12 people here who aren't introducing themselves. What's going on? He also refused to take his shirt off and prove he wasn't a fed on stream. That's true. That's very suspicious. That book tattoo is kind of cool, though. That's one of the most audacious academic tattoos I've ever seen, and I've seen some quite audacious academic tattoos. We're not getting into mine. That's like, I feel like it's like military grade stuff. To prove he wasn't wearing a wire. Yes. I have a few tattoos. The one that's always visible is my wrist, which that's all you're going to see. I have a Twin Peaks tattoo, which I'm deeply embarrassed of. And I also have another tattoo on the inside of my arm, which we're not even going to mention. It was a joke that I got tattooed. So the story is that when I was living in Hull and having my teenage rebellion, my best friend at school, her older sister, had like a proper rebellious period that never really ended, and she was a tattoo artist at this local place, and she was like, we could go and get tattoos there because she needed the practice. She was like learning to be a proper tattoo artist, needed the practice, didn't want to tattoo pigs and shit as they do sometimes. So we used to go in and like get tattoos. I only got 2. One that's the very first one on my arm, which was like a Japanese Enzo, which I thought was really cool at the time. And then later on, I thought it was really lame, and everyone thought like a coffee stain. And then I think it's cool again, and I'm kind of glad that I did that. And yeah, the other one was well, oh shit. Flash that will. I thought it was a really funny joke, and it was a really funny joke for about a year, and now I've had to live with it for like 10 of them, and it's not funny anymore. It's deeply embarrassing. I need like a heavy duty cover up of like my whole shit going on there. The Twin Peaks one is embarrassing. It's like up there because it's misspelled. So, no, well, yeah, I agree. You should never feel embarrassed about tats, but also, I only get like, okay, I have like a theory to get real for a minute that like tattoos are kind of like they're like a socially acceptable form of self harm. I only get tattoos when my mental health is awful, and they're like a really they're like a cool. They're not cool. They're like signs of a really bad time that you can play off as cool. Like smoking cigarettes. People think that when you smoke cigarettes, you think that you look cool, but actually, I mostly smoke cigarettes when I'm like stressed to fuck and don't know what to do with myself. And so it's like you channel utter despair into some visual shit that people might think gives you an edge. So mixed. That's maybe a controversial take, but I have very mixed feelings about tattoos in general and my own, and that's fine. Always, so Jan says, I always felt like tattoos were a public display of wealth. That's interesting. They can be really fucking expensive. The most tattooed people I know, though, are always like they do it themselves for practice and shit, or they're like stick and poke tattoos that like make you look like you've been to prison, but actually just been looks like a coked up bougie party or something. But also Ed's here. Sorry, Ed. Hello. Thank you for wishing me a happy blog birthday. We were just chatting shit about you. We weren't really chatting shit about you. I was saying that you're awesome and we should do things together. Who among us has a good relationship with our tattoos? Yeah, I think that's a very fair. They're weird, right? I don't know. I remember like when I got the metal cuff like 5 years ago, and I have no shame in like when I got it, it was like a rushed thing. Dove into it, always thought it looked cool, wanted one, and specifically wanted it with nothing else, just as like a hard line thing. It was the most painful of all my tattoos, and I've had 5 done, and it was the most painful. And it wasn't fully done, so it's kind of like if you get it in the light, it kind of looks slightly patchy. It looks a bit like a watercolor, which I like now. But the guy that did it was like, "Hey, let it heal. Come back in a couple of weeks, and we'll like touch up the rest." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, take my money." And I like left. And I remember I did it right in the window of this shop in Hull City Centre, and all these people were like walking past me and like laughing at me and being in like abject pain from like having this like wrist like bone hammered a million times a second. And yeah, I went home and like I was really upset about having done that to myself for weeks. And now I like it and I'm really happy with it. But like I think it takes a huge amount of adjusting. I think it takes a very certain kind of person to modify their body in a way that doesn't totally freak them the fuck out. I don't know how you can like body mod shit. Blows my mind in a way that I find really, really impressive and like commendable, because I don't know. I feel like if I like change myself in a way that like I am surprised by when I look down, yeah, fucks me up. Tea towels, better off topic, but a better topic than talking about my life regrets. Drunk on YouTube. Tea towels. A tea towel is. I'll show you a tea towel. I got a really good one when I went to Cornwall a couple of weeks ago. I realized I don't know why I'm even wearing headphones. Like I'm not talking to anybody. This is how tired, overworked, and drunk I am tonight. I'm wearing headphones and I'm not even in a conversation. Oh, and Justin Murphy's just gone live. Tough shit, Justin. Nobody leave. If anyone leaves and jumps ship to Justin, we're not friends anymore. This is a tea towel. This is a tea towel of Cornish shipwrecks, which is really cool. For drying kitchen stuff. A dish rag. Okay, it's a dish rag, but a dish rag that you can make really pretty. And basically, I thought the best piece of blog merch would to be a tea towel that I can put like a logo and a photo on. And the idea that people might buy that fills me with like absolute joy. But I looked into it and they're really expensive. So if I made them, I'd have to charge quite a bit for them. And I don't know if I can like justify the expense. They are tea towel is totally dish rag doesn't sound bougie and Anglo. Tea towel is totally the bougie Anglo version of a dish rag. But you can put drawings on them and shit. This one is Cornish shipwrecks. It cost me £4.99. And it's the best souvenir you can hope for. A tea towel as a souvenir is like a go-to because I always do the washing up in this house. It's like the go-to thing. And because I'm really good at it, because I'm anal about what I eat off of. My girlfriend is not. She will like rinse that shit and put it away with like crusty shit on it. I can't deal with that. So I do all the washing up every single day. And when I'm drying shit, it's cool to have something goth. You can still feel goth when you're doing the washing up with a Cornish shipwreck tea towel. So Xenogothic tea towels coming soon, maybe, when I have money. The stream is freezing on Neural Shroud. It might be my wife. I don't know. My Wi-Fi shit. Goth tea towels. Man, Nomad's here. Hello, friend. How are you doing? Is anybody else? This is really weird because I kind of expected this to be like a conversation with people, and I'm just reading the chat and responding to it. And this is a lot weirder than I thought it would be when I decided to do this at 9 a.m. this morning on the bus to work. Thank you for the happy birthday, my friend. Neural Shroud will pre-order 5 tea towels. I might have to hold you up on that. That's going to be a thing when this book comes out that I'm planning on. It's being edited by a very nice friend of mine at the moment, who's going to look over it and make some comments. And hopefully it'll be out soon. Maybe not the end of this month, but later on. But I need to figure out a way to do that because I don't want to. It's not really a money-making exercise. I just want to put something out for fun. But yeah, the idea of pre-orders might be able to mean that I can make it nicer and still charge like at cost. Like I don't want to make a profit on it. I just want to like put it out for however it costs to make. But that's quite a lot of money. So yeah, if we can do some pre-orders on that might be a thing to do in the future. But I don't really want to talk business. But that's good to know, Neural Shroud. You are a true gentleman. How's everyone else doing? How are you, Meta Nomad? You're good. You've already said you're good. I'm a couple of beers deep after like a long, long day at work. So this is me rambling incoherently about nothing. For anyone that is new, there's now 16 people. Greetings to you. Please do make yourselves known and say hello in the chat if you want. As a recap, I have no plans for doing this. When I started this off, I was trying to listen to myself in headphones to see how the sound was, and we still got feedback. I don't know how that happened, but that makes me think that trying to watch Justin might be a bad idea. So how to live stream heckling Justin might be tricky. And that's what these headphones come back for. Meta Nomad says, eating Tesco own brand chocolate eclairs and drinking canned lemonade. That's a good Wednesday night, I think. Chocolate eclairs are always good. Now I want chocolate eclairs. Tesco does some good, like, bad, sugary chocolate shit. They're, like, underrated for their contribution to national obesity levels. Matt Nomad says, might play Lord of the Rings online and role play a bit of Gothic Hobbit thief. Nice. I've never played Lord of the Rings online. I've been tempted to do, like, Elder Scrolls online, but also I feel like I'm totally out of the loop in terms of online gaming. That I've just now got a PS4 after years and years of wanting one, and feel like I missed out on like the whole past generation or current generation of game shit. Because apparently they're going to bring out a new thing, PS5 or whatever next year, which is like just my luck. I can only afford this shit when it's like on its like last legs. Anyway, online gaming, I feel like I missed the boat on, and I don't know how you even get started on that shit. Maybe it's just like blogging. Is it like blogging? Is it like Twitter where you role play? I feel like I've been role playing as a Gothic Hobbit thief for about a year now, and this is my birthday party for being a Gothic Hobbit thief on Twitter. Claire finds gaming very alienating. In general or like online? Last of Us, Matt recommends Last of Us on PS4. That is the first game that I played. That is the game that made me want a PS4. Yeah, that game's amazing. I need to do like people have been saying on Twitter today about like the someone posted it about Twitch streamers talking about climate change. And me and Nix talked about this months ago. Like I really wanted to do like a Twitch streaming philosophy podcast thing. And The Last of Us and like Fallout 4, I feel like are the best things. Just like I want to do a video on the Brotherhood of Steel quest in Fallout 4 and how they're basically like left accelerationism on crack, and why left accelerationism is bad is Brotherhood of Steel and Fallout 4. Claire says both. You find single player and multiplayer alienating, which yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I think that's why I've struggled to keep it up as like a hobby. Like even I haven't. It's I don't know. It is. It's like it feels like quite an antisocial thing to do in a lot of ways. Like I don't know. I struggle with it. Like I used to do it all the time, but I never had anything better to do. I was like in a totally. Yeah, I loved gaming, but it also has like very negative social memories of gaming on my childhood. Alienating is like fair. Neural Shroud says Twitter role playing is often more fun. The stakes are higher. Might get yelled at. That's true. You can get yelled at in like some shit, some games. I'm sure. I guess that's the thing is that you only get shouted at in games and called names that I can't say online and don't really want to. Man Nomad is asking about the new Doctor Who. Neural Shroud just watched the first episode an hour ago. Oh, Doctor Who, yeah. Zeno, you need to make that Fallout video. I will. Do I have a PC, by the way? I only have a laptop. This is kind of the thing, is that I built my own PC when I was like 14 with my dad. And I was thinking about this the other day because who was it? It was Axon Horror was talking about how to fall asleep because I've been sleeping shit this past week. And yeah, I fell asleep for 4 years every single night. And this is like no hyperbole. Every single night for 4 years, I fell asleep to Grouper's debut album. No, it's not. No, it wasn't my debut. What am I saying? Dragging the Dead Deer Up a Hill, which is like a 5th album, but the one that like when she really made it. And I was thinking about that album because I remember when it came out in like 2008. It's like 10 years old this year, that's insane. But yeah, I played that album and then would just play like on my like for Half-Life 2 Deathmatch like constantly. I did nothing else for like a whole summer on this PC that I built, and it was like decent at the time, but it very quickly became redundant like really fast. Like there was a really steep curve I think for PC gaming where like I'm sure many people did not keep up with like this surge in technology, and I was one of them. And I ended up getting my first laptop when I went to do my undergrad degree, and then I've never gone back, which is kind of sad, because like I totally like was a PC gamer for sure. My girlfriend's brother, he has also just built a PC. He lives like just down the road, and when we go and like hang out with him sometimes, he like has all the shit. Like he got like Oculus Rift shit hooked up. He's like he doesn't know this, I don't think, but he has made me get back to gaming because like I wanted like a way to bond with him. He's like a few years younger. Anyway, I'm like rambling and missing questions. Do you know about Hidetaka Miyazaki's Dark Souls, Bloodborne, his novel ideas and environmental storytelling? I don't know his ideas. I know I've played a couple of Dark Souls games, and I have Bloodborne on PS4 waiting for me after I get like in the right mood. Oh, Banyo Shroud, thank you for hanging around for a bit. Good to see you. You are a true pal. But yeah, no, I don't know what his ideas on environmental storytelling are. I'd be very interested to hear what they are if you'd be bothered to type them out in the chat. Oh, bye, Claire. Nice to see you. Yeah. But no, gaming for philosophy videos needs to be a thing. Now I'm just like thinking about that. I think there's lots of interesting things to be said about Dark Souls in that respect. Like as a phenomenon and like what it, I don't know. Oh God, I could just go wild on it. Lovecraft games. What are the Lovecraft games? I have this Call of Cthulhu game that I ended up playing a bit of. I got it in like a Steam sale, like last year. I think I tweeted about it, but I didn't get very far because I don't know. The problem with Lovecraft stuff, like Lovecraft adaptations, is that they always end up fucking it up. Like it's like what the Matt said on Dark Corners of the Earth. There's something that Matt said, or Dr. Yaga, in a tweet yesterday that was MCS was talking about listening to Lovecraft's audiobooks. And then we had like a tiny little discussion about like how that language works. Like it's in a lot of ways it's really awful, but in other ways it's kind of its vibrancy and how it's trying to describe the indescribable is really cool. Like I think Lovecraft's really poetic in a really interesting way. When you try and visualize that, it always just fucks it up massively. And I've never seen like I guess Lovecraft's notorious for that, right? But yeah, the game was like the same thing, and the graphics didn't help. But it's like it just felt like the horror of Lovecraft is reading him in that inner voice, which is something that Matt said on Twitter. Yeah, it's the horror of that inner voice, and when that voice comes out of your head and is like dramatized in front of you, the magic goes. You kind of need the horror of it being in like the interiority of reading, in like some weird Druidian analysis, probably. I think that's super important, and the game took it like a step further that like was a real shame. I would love Vampire the Masquerade. I do love Vampire the Masquerade. I played that game also around the same time. This time last year, I think the reason I stopped playing it was because I started blogging. Which was a shame. I got into it. Are they doing like sequels for that shit and stuff? I don't know. What's Sinking Sea? Is that like a Lovecraft game? I was watching. What was I watching? I was trying to do another cursed blog post today, like on my lunch break. The latest Lovecraftian game. Okay. Oh, maybe I have heard about that. Yeah, I saw that there was some recent trailers. If it's out yet? I need to get that and check that out. But no, I was wanting to do like a cursed blog post about my guilty pleasure, which is PewDiePie. Yeah, I don't know, shoot me. But PewDiePie early this week did a let's play of what's it called? Amnesia? Yeah, he did a let's play of that game. Like they've updated it recently with a new hard mode, and he was doing like a let's play of that new mode. Um, I only heard I would only know about games from let's plays, so I ended up like always seeing a bunch of his videos. But like Amnesia seems like a proper like Lovecraftian game, like where you have to stay in the light, otherwise, like the more time you spend in the dark, the lower it drains your sanity meter. And I think like that is like a as a concept he talks about it in the stream of like this game revolutionized horror games at the time. Um, and yeah, I can kind of see that. Yeah, I need to play that game. I need to play that game and live stream it. I don't know how to live stream games. That's the other problem that we've got. I am a technical idiot. Jan says I guess this is what's his name, Dark Souls dude. His ideas revolve around the idea that you could tell a story through a looping geographical architecture that changes by the player's input while the scripted storytelling is kept a minimum. The lore surrounding item descriptions is never solid/canon and thrives on community effort in terms of interpretation. That's really cool. Tell a story through a looping geographical architecture. The changes by the player's input. That's kind of wild. I think that's what I liked. That's what I always liked about a lot of like. I mean, I don't know if that's something that he tries to do with the Dark Souls games. I don't. I need to like. Yeah, I found those the Dark Souls. It was Dark Souls 2. I went to that game first, and I found it so difficult. It stressed me out. I need to like have another pop at it and like I don't know, stick with it. Bloodborne's going to be like my way in, I think, because yeah, that was my first attempt at playing a game after like 3 years of never playing anything, and it was not the best game to choose to get back into gaming at all. But I should have another go. But that's what, yeah, I always liked that sense about a lot of like Bethesda mods. Not in the sense that it's a looping geographical environment, but people doing like they would do like lore faithful mods, which I think is like I don't know how you'd really do that, but I think it's like such a brilliant idea to I don't know. I need to get facts before I wax lyrical about these things because I think the ideas of them are amazing, but I don't know what that means in practice at all. But that sounds cool. I will check that out for sure. Okay. Whereabouts is everybody? There's I actually was on the phone with a friend who's in LA right before starting the stream, and she said that it was 11 o'clock in the morning where she was, and I just got in from work, so that's weird. But I appreciate that a bunch of you people might be in very strange time zones. Who's still here? Is there a way for me to see? No. Oh no, there is a way. Oh no, that's the chat. Do say hello if you're here, and like I don't know. This is the. I know you're here, Goldfire. Hey Zach, good to see you. Jan says Dark Souls 2 hasn't been directed by him, but in Bloodborne he amps it up. He amps it even further with the idea of an increasing insight meter that changes different layers of reality. Okay, cool. There's a huge element of some kind of retro acceleration meets Derrida's Memoirs of the Blind. Whoa. Okay. That's cool. Okay. We need to chat more about this shit. I'm going to play it. I might even play it tonight after this stream, and then we should chat more about this because this sounds really interesting. But yeah, hey Zach, how are you? We're Facebook friends. That's how I know you. I think. I'm good. I don't know if you've just arrived in the stream. I have just finished work. I am here drinking and chatting shit. This is I don't know. I'm good. I'm good. Slightly bemused by the whole blog thing. I said this before. I don't know if anyone was here when I was talking about this, but I checked the word count on Xenogothic for the first time ever. I didn't know you could have that information, and there's 260,000 words, like 250,000 words in 12 months, which is ridiculous. And now I'm kind of like I'm thinking about what I've been doing with my life, and now I'm just drinking to that thought of having written 250,000 words in a year. You see, impressive is it doesn't feel impressive. It feels slightly like concerning. Like I don't know. I need to. I don't know. It's a weird. It's a weird. It's weird. 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 Very weird. It feels like an achievement, but at what cost? I don't know. So much of life has happened in that time, and I don't know how that has been. I don't know. Let's not have me have an existential crisis live on the stream. That would be a weird thing to way to spend this. That's what birthdays are, right? You have a birthday of whatever kind, you get drunk, and then you think about your life too much. So that's what this is, live as an open book. Ask your questions and get them in there and probe away, because this is going to be a weird internet artifact that gets deleted very soon. By which I mean, hello, Zach, and thanks for joining us. Well, yeah, I mean, that's not a bad topic for a stream. I'm going to tweet this out again because I don't know. I don't know. There was ideas for this whole thing. Do I know my Twitter mutual Hugo Reinhardt in real life? No, I don't. Oh yeah, sorry, man. No, Matt. I did not answer your Doctor Who question. I'm very sorry about that. I have feels for sure. Did you not answer my Doctor Who question because you hate Jodie Whittaker? Whereas the Daily Mail said she bad because woman. I love Jodie Whittaker. I think that I thought that episode was amazing. Okay, I don't know if anyone read my perhaps too long post about on the nature of Doctor Who before that stream went out. One sec. Yeah. So in the post that you missed, I missed it. You put out so much that I missed it occasionally. That's very true. Also, hey Axon, I was just chatting about you before, and now I've forgotten why. Doctor Who. Yeah, I post far too much, and I'm very. That's why I'm surprised that anyone reads anything that I put out, because it's just like a fog. But in that Doctor Who post, I went back, I think, just like everything I end up doing these days, and I always end up going back to what Mark wrote on it, because I'm not over that yet. And there was a bunch of Capon posts where he was like getting ready for Christopher Eccleston to come back. And he's kind of talking about his hopes and what was so great about the original series, and what it kind of needs to carry, what he hopes it carries forwards for the future. And can only kind of agree with him in saying that, like, he was talking about this sense of the Gothic Who. There was like, so I don't know if there was any Nigel Neal written episodes, but there was. I mean, I remember it from as a kid and watching these serials, and it was always the really gothic shit. Like, there was this one in a graveyard. There was like I don't know if it was Pyramids of Mars, but there's one where there's like an Egyptian mummy is in this like English country graveyard. It's super good, and that whole vibe was never carried on consistently, but I felt it was always its best. It's what it did best. And what I loved about this first episode is that it did that. Like that Sheffield episode was like it was Yorkshire Gothic. It was creepy shit in the woods, and like really the whole tone of it, the whole color palette was super grimy and dark, but not in like this fetishized industrial way. It was just like the North. And so I was super happy about that. Jodie Whittaker was awesome, but the script was shit in that she was like still under the shadow of that like David Tennant mania. Like that bullshit. It's like no doctor's been able to shake that off, of that whole like I don't know. Like there's always like this absolute manic moments where like it's the Sherlock thing too, right? Of like thinking aloud, and just like rambling really, really fast and talking about space and shit and blah blah blah. And despite all of these doctors, when they regenerate, are supposed to be like new characters, and you can tell that with the original series, like they're so distinct from like being grumpy to foppish to like pretentious and like bougie to like having a bit more of an edge. And that's like gone. Like you don't like since David Tennant, they've just kept on this weird like manic plateau and not been able to move on from it. And that made me really disappointed in the way that Jodie was great, the vibe of the episode was great, but she wasn't a new doctor. She was still in David Tennant mode. Okay, let me catch up with chat before I keep rambling. Script was terrible. Every other sentence is a speech. Yeah, again, that's the other problem with that shit, right? It's this like whole. It's like they know that they write it because they know it's going to be made into like a GIF thread on Tumblr or some shit. Golfi says, "Oh yeah, wasn't there a period during the Fourth Doctor's run where they intentionally wanted to mimic Hammer horror scenes?" Totally. I think that might have been the Nigel Neal stuff. Axon says, "Did Mark Fisher ever write about Doctor Who?" Loads. Right before the reboot and Christopher Eccleston stuff, Mark wrote about Doctor Who a whole bunch, and one of his best blog posts is called "This movie did not move me." It's all about Doctor Who, and it's such a good post. It's like best of K-punk shit level tier stuff. Yeah, go and read Mark on Doctor Who for sure. And then I think they ended with the whole run with a huge story about cosmic horror and entropy. Yeah, I mean, this is something that I'm not sure if I'm imagining this, but I'm sure that this is the Nigel Neal stuff. So Nigel Neal that Mark writes about in, I think, Ghosts of My Life, and also in The Weird Me Eerie, who wrote, he's most famous for doing Quatermass and Pit, or Quatermass and the Pit. Yeah, he did loads of shit. Loads of like those 70s TV shows that are like peak K-punk era stuff. Nigel Neal was like Mark's hero, and I think I'm sure he wrote some Doctor Who shit, or he was having such an influence on British telly at the time that Doctor Who just absorbed that stuff and tried to make these super gothic things. And yeah, that was the Doctor Who that I would never have known it was great for that reasons. But the era that Mark references is the ones that I remember most vividly. Like, that's totally it. William Guppy, hello William Guppy. What's your opinion on following William Guppy on Twitter.com? I don't want this to sound brutal, but I'm not sure I have any opinion on that. Who's William Guppy? What's your handle, William Guppy? What do you do? Quaymaster the Pit is so underrated. Totally is. I just got in time for Halloween. It's somewhere. I got this Hammer Horror box set for like £20 on Amazon, and it's got loads of good stuff in. And Quaymaster the Pit is one of them. William Guppy, I see you. Okay. Pitch me. Why should I follow you on Twitter? We're doing that now. Give me a pitch and we'll see about it. Goldfire, I think I only know about it because Alan Moore talks about it quite a bit. Totally, yeah. So Alan Moore is the other guy. Because you've liked my tweets. Okay. You'll have to forgive me. Well, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, and we are now going to follow each other. Welcome to the stream. Okay, fair enough. Okay, yeah, there's the exchange. Well, there you go. I now follow you on Twitter. I hope that satisfies, scratches an itch. Alan Moore is interesting. Robin was telling me about Alan Moore did this whole Providence series of graphic novel stuff. There was like Lovecraft reimagining things. I really want them. Apparently, they all sold out as soon as they came out, and I think like only now Volume 6 you can like still buy. There's like a comic shop down the road from me, from where I work in central London, and yeah, I saw they had Providence. Just read it online. Okay. Oh, sorted. You see, I'm too lazy to even Google that shit. Yeah, I need to check that out because it looks awesome. I ended up buying like Lovecraft manga like this time last year. I think it got reviewed in. It was in like the LA Review of Books or some shit. They had like a Lovecraft manga, and I was like, this. How is this in this world? How is that in this context? And that was weird enough for me to buy it. But maybe I'm like not. I don't know. I think I sold it recently. It wasn't tentacle porn. It was like actual. It was. I wish I had it and I'd prove it to you. It was this. Oh God. Oh no. Fuck you. No. That's fair. I walked straight into that. It's not tentacle porn. It was like actual, like really, a faithful manga retelling of two Lovecraft stories. One was The Hound, and another one I can't remember. It was set on a ship, but that could be any Lovecraft story. But it was weird. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Like comics and graphic novels and shit are another like they're like gaming. In my parents' house, there's like a huge box full of comics that I collected when I was a kid and like a teenager, and I just totally like fell out of that mindset. Like I don't know. Same with a lot of things. I used to watch loads of weird, like bougie avant-garde European cinema with like 4-hour-long movies about nothing and be really into it. And now I can't stand that shit. No, I find that weird. I wish you could like keep all of. I'm the kind of person, and maybe this has become apparent from having a blog, but I'm the kind of person that I will change. I have a different obsession every 6 months. The first half of this year, it was Orteka. The second half of this year, it's black metal, and that changes from like medium to medium. So like Wild Western literature. Now, as a birthday present to myself, as a blog birthday present to myself, I bought all 6 volumes of David Hume's History of England. So that's something that I'm going to read now after reading loads of American Gothic Western shit. And yeah, I will change my vibe every 6 months. And then some shit you just never come back to. And I kind of wish you could collect all of that stuff. And like never like let go of it. I wish I had time for everything that I've ever loved. That's slightly more profound than it was meant to be, but I generally wish that because I don't have time for all this shit. Give us some black metal Rex, dog. Okay, this t-shirt came in the post yesterday for Krieg, and this is an MCS recommendation. He recommended me their album, The Black House, and it's fucking boss. And I like have been rinsing their Bandcamp. There's Black House, Destruction Ritual, Blue, what's it called? Blue Miasma or something. Loads of stuff. They're awesome. There's another band that I was listening to today. I posted it on Twitter actually. A band called Loss. Their album that came out this year called Horizonless is amazing. Zaster fan. I'm definitely a Zaster fan. He's featured in both episodes of Xenogothic Radio so far. Zaster is the bomb. He's awesome. What was I listening to? This is one thing that I was thinking about doing actually. I'm gonna sit by my records and we can chat records for a bit if you want. Because this is like post shelf, right? But no one's ever like post record shelf, so we're gonna peruse this shit for a bit. This is what I've been listening to the past 2 days. I feel like having Burzum on vinyl is like deeply cursed. That makes me like a crypto fascist officially, right? I don't know. So we got Burzum. Tropical Gothic. This is a new one that came out. What's this? Now give us. Oh shit! Fuck. That's Judith Butler, The Psychic Life of Power. That's a Gothic recommendation for sure. Goldfire says, "Give us your Gothic Western Rex, since I'm not even sure what that is." I'm not sure what it is either. Cormac McCarthy. I read Cormac McCarthy's No Country for Old Men, Child of God, Blood Meridian. I read like half of his books at the start of this year. That's like Southern Gothic, like for sure. Like No Country for Old Man is No Country for Old Men, rather, is like 100% this sort of Frankenstein story, right? It's Frankenstein in the American South. A modern Frankenstein in the American South. It's the modern Prometheus, which is fucking awesome. That book's amazing. And the book is like so much like the film in a way that's quite ridiculous. I'm getting distracted. I need to charge this laptop too. I feel like charging this may give weird feedback. So let me know, because when I did this when I was doing the interview with Meta Nomad, and I think charging was the issue. If this sounds weird, let me know. Oh, Kipple Mix. Sorry, I missed your thing. Tanabe's The Hound adaptation. I think that might have been it, actually. But I don't have it anymore, so I can't tell you. But talking about Gothic shit, Tropical Gothic, I posted this on Twitter. Now I feel like the needledrop.com, which is fucking ridiculous. Tropical Gothic by Mike Cooper. This, I don't know how to feel about this yet, actually. Mike Cooper's a really cool guy. This album's kind of all over the place. It's like, it's got a really cool blurb on the back that says, Tropical Gothic examines Gothic within a specific geographical area, the South, as well as transnational movements of the Gothic. Tropical Gothic includes, but no, I can't even fucking read. I have too many too much to drink. Tropical Gothic includes, but is by no means limited to, a reflection on a region where European colonial powers fought intensely against indigenous populations and against each other for control of land and resources. Gothic, relating to a style of fiction characterized by the use of desolate or remote settings and macabre, mysterious, and violent incidents. Yeah. The Gothic is decolonial shit. It sounds amazing, which is why I bought it without listening to it. And I don't know if I like it enough to keep it, unfortunately. But it's kind of cool. I need to sit with it. I'm not going to get rid of it until I've spent time with it. What else? I was listening to Necro Frost also recently, which is the first black metal record I ever bought, actually. What's my fave Dark Throne album? Dark Throne album, I only have 2 here, actually. I think my favorite might be Under a Funeral Moon. I think that album is awesome. But also their first one, which I didn't realize even existed, that's called Soul Side something. It's their proper crust punk demo. I thought it came out later. It sounds really more recent, but Soulside Journey, that's the one. That album's fucking amazing. I'm kind of surprised it doesn't have as much I don't know, as a reputation as those first classic 3. Because I've only got the first 2. Then we got Blaze and the Northern Sky. But yeah, Under a Funeral Moon is my favorite for sure. The Xeno drop. I know this is fucking awful, but I'm not gonna explain this shit to you like the Needle Drop does. That guy needs to fuck off and die. His opinions are trash. What else we got? I'm gonna sit on the floor. This is getting real domestic now. How's my sound, by the way? Are we all good on sound? Because yeah, the charger fucks that shit up. Really weird. Also, if I'm talking really fast, sorry, this is I have this. The only way this would work is if I was massively on an adrenaline rush. I'm also now going to tweet this because we're probably going to lose people to Justin Murphy. So we're going to tweet that we are now doing the xenodrop.com. And then we're going to chat more records and shit. I thought about doing this as well. This is another idea for this stream that I'm not technically technically competent enough to deal with, which was hang on, doing a mix shit, doing a live radio show and just sharing some stuff. People can chime in. This is something for the future. Maybe I'll do another one of these and not delete it and not be a total do about it. We can just have a record club. I opened up a Discord. I don't know if anyone saw that, and that was kind of the idea in there of having a listening club. We can just share music. So I could play some stuff and start things off, and then we can have a chat, and then we just play music that people suggest. That would be an idea for another time, maybe. I could play things on here, but I reckon that would sound shit. Okay, that's to poach some of Justin's crew. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to delete this. I am going to delete this video because it's a mess. Maybe I'll download it for private posterity. But also, I'm going to just start telling you shit that I've been planning and thinking about that probably better as a surprise. Okay, so Black Sabbath. What I really want to do is I know where this mill is. I know where this picture was taken. And I want to make Xenogoth merch where I recreate this picture wearing sports gear. because Xenogoth is all about being a bad goth, right? I don't think I look very goth. I don't think I talk. I don't know. I don't feel very goth. So I feel like I need to embrace that, and I want to recreate this album cover in this place. Yeah. Oh no, shit. No, you're right, Zach. Xeno Health Goth. That's already a thing. I need to think of what I can wear that is the least goth clothes. I need to like maybe wear a suit, but I want to recreate. Health Goth is extremely good. It's extremely good, but it's not Xenogoth. It's its own thing. That corner of the market is taken. But yeah, I know where this is. It's 2 hours away from here. But I want to go and I want to make this picture. I've been taking loads of pictures of this weekend, like film stuff. Dressing all white is a good idea. Yeah, I need to think this out. I mean, I've been doing my girlfriend's been. I've been trying to take pictures for merch and maybe like make some sort of another book to come after the Egress one, with like pictures taken in Nunhead Cemetery, which is a cemetery really close to here, which is incredible. There's like it's the most. You've got like Highgate Cemetery up north where Karl Marx's grave is. I haven't been there, but want to go there. But Nunhead Cemetery is like insane. It's like my favorite place in South London to go. And we've been taking loads of pictures there, and she's been taking pictures of me, and I don't photograph well. It's the most awkward thing in the world. It looks really embarrassing. I look like I'm 16 and like trying to promote my one-man metal band, but it's worse than that because I'm trying to promote my blog. But I think the pictures might come out cool, and I want to have some fun with them. Maybe put them on tea towels. So that's the plan. So maybe there'll be a Xenogoth Black Sabbath tea towel in the future. That's the plan. What else we got? Botanist. Botanist's amazing. This album, Mandragora. I think this was like a Bandcamp thing. I was so happy when I like snagged this. Botanist's like, you probably know Botanist if you're like on that scene, but like best one-man metal band, Bandcamp dude. He's a legend. I don't know. What else we got? Oh yeah, I was talking about Necrofrost. This is the first black metal record I ever bought. It's like this 10-inch by this band called Necrofrost. The title is "The Dark Fog Hovers Near the Wooden Caves of Aldrachian Blood Forest." It's in a weird font. It's hard to read. Yeah, good record. Very good record. I think it's for sale on my Discogs at the moment, which I need to take down. I don't want to sell it. I need to do that. I need to make a note of that. That might be almost all I have. I don't have many black metal records because I can't get away with playing them that often. My girlfriend's not here at the moment, which is good. If I put them on, I can get away with it for maybe like 10 seconds. As soon as someone starts singing, she will just shout at me from across the flat, "No!" And it goes off. Which is fair enough because, I don't know, I like that shit. Even Quiet, I like it. Like that whole Zasta thing of like him playing Zasta at the end is Oliver Coates, the experimental cellist, playing Zasta to his newborn baby to send him to sleep. It's like, that's the best. That's peak Xenogoth for me. But I can't get away with that here. Yeah, doesn't happen. Yeah, what else we got? Oh, good album cover. My this is an amazing album. This Pipe Dream by Alan Hull. Alan Hull was the lead singer in a band called Lindisfarne that my dad used to go and see every year when he lived in. They're a band from Newcastle. He lived in Sunderland. They used to do a Christmas concert every year in Newcastle, and he would go. They're like a great, like just sort of 70s folk rock band. But Alan Hull on this album, it's like his solo album, and it's like psychedelic as fuck. It's really, it's great. The lyrics on it are super weird. Really political, lots of good shit. There's a song about. I'm gonna put it on actually because there's a song called "The Drug Song," which is really chill. It's like the best. It's one of my favorite songs about drugs that there ever is. If this sounds like shit, do let me know and I'll turn it off. If you can actually hear anything, that's a bonus. Oh.
I rolled a joint and crashed it down the floor. Roll with me, I'll never roll a joint no more. I took some speed and ran round in circles, 1,000 miles, 1,000 miles away.
That's good. Don't find me a credit. I feel like this is like it's kind of Sibara-esque. Yeah, it's that period for sure. Just that cover's amazing.
Why do you want me constantly very close indeed to me? If you drive me mad, you'll make mother very sad, and she maybe even cry. She maybe shed a tear when she sees my coffin go by.
Wyatt-esque is true. Very comfy stream. Okay, this feels good. If that sounded decent, then let's I'm gonna keep this going. Now I'm in my territory. And I'm burping like it's no one's business. Excuse me. What we got? Do we have any oh no, I don't know what to go. What does everyone? If everyone enjoyed that, do you want to hear some more shit like that? I think this is I think this is part of the whole Xenogoth thing. That as much as I love metal, I think a lot of what I ended up growing up on was this psychedelic folk shit, and that stuff's amazing. A lot of incredible string band stuff like that. I think there's something quite metal in there, and this is something that I ended up having with Kojo Eshin. Actually, we talk about Kojo has a weird relationship with the band Yes, and Yes were my favorite band when I was a teenager. We got some Yes here. We got Yes songs. You might have seen that on the Instagram, Twitter a couple of weeks ago. I bought that in some Yorkshire village that I can't remember. Not Yorkshire, Derbyshire village, close to the edge. This is maybe like my favorite album of all time. And the lyrics on that are like crazy. Like I think it's known for it. I mean, well, you kind of no, Fragile's a bad example, but what's it? Topographic Oceans. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm just going to stop trying. The thought is not important because someone just mentioned Jim O'Rourke. We have some Jim O'Rourke here. I'm going to put some Jim O'Rourke on. Jim O'Rourke's amazing. His Bandcamp at the moment is on fire. Jim O'Rourke and what's his name? Kevin Drum. Between the two of them, they own Bandcamp. Like, subscribe to that shit. Lots of. I'm missing some chat. Let's go back to the chat. Did you ever hear those Llamas Late Night Laments comps? No. Lots of weird folk with Wicker Man as their cue. I'm sold. I need to Google that. I guess 70s metal and psych folk had a similar weird pagan kind of vibe. Totally. There's like a hammer horror vibe to that whole thing. Because a lot of that shit, I mean, yeah, I haven't heard O'Rourke's new one. Peter Owen, welcome to the stream. We are currently going through my records and playing some shit. How are you, my friend? Just woke up. Whereabouts are you? Tell me how you are, Peter Owen, who is new to the chat, while I find this Jim O'Rourke record. Oh, that's another one for later. Northern Dream by Bill Nelson. Amazing folky shit. We're getting everything that I want, but what I need. Linda Pearlhack's Parallelograms, one of the best psych folk albums of that era. Recently reissued. I think it was reissued a couple of years ago. That's when I got this. Amazing album. Okay, yeah. So you know which Jim O'Rourke album I'm going to be talking about, probably. I don't even know what this is called. It doesn't even have a title on it, does it? Oh, Halfway to a Three-Way. Incredible album. I wanted to play this, actually, because some of you may or may not know, I live 5 minutes from Goldsmiths Uni in southeast London. Not because I used to go there. I live closer to there now than I did when I was a student there, which is really lame. But they have a new Al gallery, and at the moment they have a little exhibition of Ivor Cutler stuff. And yeah, the Ivor Cutler cover on this record is like a dream. There's a little Pepe insert there. What we got? This whole album is amazing. Is it an EP or an album? Whatever it is, it's fuck. Oh no, it's not even on here, or is it? I'm getting confused. I'm sure that Jim O'Rourke has a cover of Women of the World, and I'm sure it's on this album, but it's not listed on the track list, but maybe that's wrong. I don't know. Have you heard the London bootleg from Meltdown? No, I have no idea what that is. Oh, is that Jim O'Rourke? Oh fuck! This is the problem with like getting records out when you're pissed. Is that I don't know how to look after them when I'm drunk. Where does this live? Okay, we're good. Don't worry. I said this before. I don't know if anyone was here then. I live with my girlfriend, and I don't know where she is. I think she's at like leaving drinks for her work shit. I think she's probably forgotten that it's my blog birthday. She has no interest in my blogging. But she's gonna come back to this like living room full of records and me chatting to myself, and she's gonna think I've like literally lost my mind. So we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna play Not Sport Martial Art from this album because that is just like an incredible track. This album makes me feel like I'm 16 again. This is the soundtrack to getting the train to the beach at Bridlington in December, and like, oh, it's like nostalgia central. But such an amazing album. It reminds me a lot. Oh, yeah. So good. This album actually reminds me of. I'll talk over it a bit. So I don't know if this might. It's like a long track, and if it sounds shit, I don't want to bore you all. It reminds me of a guy called Sam Prekop. I buy and sell a lot of records, which is like how I can justify selling records is how I can justify buying new ones. I don't know if I sold it or not. I'm gonna have to try and find it, but it's like got this exact same vibe. Maybe if you're a fan of Jim Rock, you know who I'm talking about. We'll play him if no. This guy. That's the proper needle drop way, right? We're gonna put it right there. We'll put it on after this. Let's check. That breakdown yeah, it's got that drum in. If you think the record sounds drunk, have you been listening to me for the past hour and a half? Cheers. Okay. Get some more Cronenberg, Zach, where the night is young. I realized I actually got a call from my girlfriend 45 minutes ago, probably to say I'm going to be late, soz, but I don't care. We're good here. I'm actually realizing, which is awful, I need a new needle on here. It starts to get really clippy, like far too soon. I haven't changed the cartridge on this thing in about 3 years, but it was in storage for most of that because I've only just got these back about a couple of months ago. They have been in exile for the best part of 2 years. I was going to play you Sam Prekop. I think actually Jim O'Rourke plays on this. Yeah, he is. Yeah, there you go. Jim O'Rourke. And you can hear him all over it. And it was produced by him as well. This is an amazing little, like, it's like that album. It's like halfway to a three-way. You should probably call her back, or she's going to find you drunk sitting on the floor eventually. Yeah, it'll be fine. I could call her over live stream. She's fine. She's going to come back drunk also. She's at Leaving Drinks, I'm sure of it. A lot of her, oh, it's blue. Why did they, I heard that when they color this stuff, it makes it sound worse. You can see your reflection in there, or my reflection. Okay. The problem with this thing being blue is you can't fucking see where any of the tracks start or end. But yeah, his producing credits are crazy. Helen Williams, welcome to the stream. Helen Williams is someone that I know from real life, which makes this whole thing slightly more embarrassing because I feel like I'm talking to a void of people I don't know and never will see or ever have seen. So hello, Helen. You've made me very self-conscious of being drunk and here now. But it's lovely to see you. I should call her. What's happening? I'll leave it there. Okay, this is Sam Prekop. I'm just going to play the first track of this album. No, it's cool. Nice to see you, Helen. I'm going to play the first track of this just because, and I think you can definitely hear the Jim O'Rourke of Halfway to a Three-Way, which is a really why would you call that? What is that's it. Halfway to a Three-Way is the kind of EP title that, if you think about it too much, makes you feel really gross. So we're going to talk about this album instead. Called, what is this album called? It's not called anything. It's Sam Prekop, self-titled. Yeah, check it. I'm definitely going to have put this at the wrong speed because Jim O'Rourke's at 45. Oh. Uh-oh. Hello.
Hi.
I'm live streaming on the internet. Going through my records on the floor, and I've had a few beers. How are you?
Good.
Good. Helen Williams says hello.
Oh,
Yeah, she jumped in the chat. I am still live, though, just saying. I know you're going to hide now. Sorry. I'm going to play this Sam Prekop track, and then we'll see what happens next. This is a look into my life more than I was welcome to give at this point, but this video is not staying up. That's Jim O'Rourke guitar, like through and through.
Sending, don't go balance. Stay alive, find it at night. I know all day. Sending, don't go. But I don't want this to say. But I just stay alive. Be so sending, don't go balance. Stay alive. I know all day.
Hello. What are you doing? Getting judged. Oh, if it sounds good enough for Shazam to work, then that's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna put things in the chat so it's easier. So yeah, that was Sam Prekop. This is so much weirder now doing this in company. Actual living human company that's just got home from work. I might have to cut this. Are you going to watch J Murph? Oh yes, yeah. I forgot I said I was going to do that. Probably not. I think that feedback issue from before will only repeat itself. With another, he's doing a live stream with another communist. Do you mean? Well, okay. Are we talking about another communist as in another communist like Justin Murphy, or another communist as in another communist like someone he's already had on? Because that's very different things. Also, Chris, you've been here since the start. You were the first person here. You are a trooper. What's your Twitter handle? Who are you? Are you a person? He's already. Oh, okay, cool. Well, that's maybe if they've seen what he's been chatting about already. Maybe you'll get a telling off. Chris H420. Oh, I know who you are. Are you who I think you? Yeah, of course. CS Mel. What's this? Oh no, I just took a peek at Twitter. And Taylor Adkins is making weird gestures. But yes, Chris, I know who you are. You're amazing. Lovely to see you. And put a name to a Twitter handle. It's nice to know who people are. What am I doing? What are we doing? We've been black metal. We've been psychedelic folk. My girlfriend has gone to bed. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you embarrassed on my behalf? Not yet. Okay, good. Do you mind if I keep going for like 20 minutes? Okay, I'm going to give a cut off at 10 o'clock because that'll have been a 2-hour stream. That's more than enough, I guess. Who's even here? We've got 12 people. We've got people in the chat. Who else is here? We've had black metal. We've had psychedelic folk. What else do you guys want to hear? What kind of shit do you want to chat about? I am well resourced. Let's go wild. Do I like doom metal? Yes. Where are we going? I have a visual response to that question, but I can't find it. This happens every time I look for this record, actually. AMM, absolutely. I don't have them on record, actually. They were like my first big... there we go. AMM were my first, like, avant-garde jazz noise shit. They were big deal. But yeah, no records of their stuff. Which I think I remember reading about, like, there's this book by David Stubbs called Records Ruin the Landscape, and it's this whole book basically about how records ruined improvised music, or like long form stuff, like all these bands that were doing like AMM and other stuff. They needed Bandcamp before their time, basically, and now is like the time for that kind of long form experimentalism that is unrestricted by format. And AMM, I'm sure, are like a massive part of that. Like their records are amazing, but so edited down from what they were doing live that they're like, it's not representative. But anyway, that's a stray thought. AMM are good. I'm not going to put Sleep on. I think merch. I think we should stay chill. I'm going to put on some 4 Hero, actually, just because it feels slightly... This album's amazing. This is another record that I nearly sold. When I moved to London, I brought a box of records with me that was just... Do we need Bull of Heaven, though? I don't know what Bull of Heaven is, I'm afraid to say. But yeah, I brought down a crate of records to sell when I moved here, which ended up being how I made rent most months for the first year in this shite city. 4 Hero was an album that I brought down 2 pages, which I think won the Mercury Prize. Not that that means anything these days. I brought this down to sell it and put it on in my kitchen with my housemates, and it's too good to give up. So I'm going to play a track from this. And whilst I play the track from this, I want requests and chat. I'm going to put on Loveless, which is the first song. And I think the single from this album, but it's so good. And it kind of, I feel like it follows on from the Sam Prekop anyway. So Sam Prekop is still on there. Oops. Helps if you press play.
As we await sister sun's arrival, child stars, you'll listen to my tale peacefully. As it was told to me by my sister afar, earth her name, and this is her story. Sister Moon, hear me now, hear my end too soon, too soon. My wounds are deep, gaping, unhealing, can't believe, refuse to believe my children have no feelings for me. See them feeling a fate of early death and destruction. Watch my foolish daughters and sons.
Yes.
As they slowly kill me, quicker kill me. They loved me as would an unfaithful lover, hard time and half-past. Now unlaughed, they're deceived. No more sleep, sneaky your seekings tomorrow brings. Never and nothings, empty days for my world and its unchanging ways. Now, apocalyptic truths of revelation taste.
Ed's asking about the Egress book. I'll go grab it. What do you want to know about it?
Careless games and toys, and this is only the beginning of my children's sin. My power's fading. You suck by the hurt mother else now plaything. For the ungrateful child, so cold, tender yet full, my tears. I long for the once adoring embrace of my children. Their prayers, their care, and tenderness has now turned loveliness. The embrace, now an anaconda's grip, unmerciful and swift with the killing. Killing is a sport. From the fire in my wondrous rainforest, reflecting the death they had for their main source. They slaughter their sibling blossoms and beasts like the first murder of Cain. Their pure sister oceans will never be the same due to daily spoil and brother skies choke on oil, refinery, factory smoke, the mother earth form.
Okay. Sure. While Ed's asking questions. Yeah, okay. So Egress book. This is it. This is not the cover. I haven't figured out what that should be yet. I guess, okay, well, Egress, some of you might have read the first chapter of this already. I posted it in, well, nearly a year ago, back in January. As some of you probably will know by now, because I talk about it all the time, I studied with Mark Fisher at Goldsmiths the year that he died. I went to Goldsmiths to study with Mark and Kojo. Together, they used to run a course called Oral and Visual Cultures. And I applied to be on that course, 2014 or something. And very much like I'm being now with PhD stuff, I applied and had no idea whether I'd be able to afford it, if I could go, what my situation was. My life was a bit all over the place at that point. So I applied 2 years in advance. So basically applied and immediately deferred. And within that time, Mark and Kojo's course got merged into a course called Contemporary Art Theory, with a bunch of other courses. G.J. Michael says, come on my show, Parallax Views, goddammit. I will come on your show. You emailed me. Yeah, for sure. No, I'm totally up for it. I need to finish it. For context, anyway, okay. For context, this book is my master's dissertation. So yeah, I went to Goldsmiths to be a student of Mark and Kojo's. And in the end, I only really ended up being a student of Kojo's. I don't feel comfortable saying I was a student of Mark's. I wasn't really on his course. It was I was around, we were friends. We spoke about, he did his undergraduate degree in Hull, where I'm from. We spoke a fair bit, but he was really distant in the months before. I didn't really get to know him that well. But I knew so much about him and I'd read his books. And when Mark died, I found that so difficult because I felt like I'd made this massive mistake of not engaging with him enough. So egress was my way of working through that, to be honest. I wrote my dissertation on Mark within the context of that moment. So after Mark died, I ended up I went to Goldsmiths really enthusiastic, really sociable. I was like the happiest I've ever been in my life, I think. And then it all happened and everything fell apart. And but I made these really strong friendships through that moment. People that I didn't actually know that well before Mark died. And it seemed to be like that the event of Mark's death brought a bunch of people that didn't know each other together in this really intense way. And that, to me, resonated with what I was already writing and reading about, which was community through the work of Bataille, Blanchot, Nancy. So Egress is a book which is basically, it starts off being about that experience of like what it was like to be at Goldsmiths when Mark died. And then it goes through how that experience actually helped me to really get to the core of Mark's work, which I think is community in a sense. His post-capitalist desire, his acid communism, these are all different ways of thinking what he called for in capitalist realism, which was a collective subject. And I found that, I felt like for 9 months, whilst I was a postgraduate student, I found that collective subject, but I found it through grief. And that resonated with my readings of Bataille and Blanchot. And it was kind of like, I don't want to make this academic. I want to live this, and I want to, I don't know, process it through this thing. So yeah, I don't know. That was why I wrote my dissertation on Mark, for those reasons within that context. And Egress is basically an extended version of that. I've kept writing about Mark, as you all know, on the blog. So Egress is kind of like, it's my original dissertation, expanded with a load of other blog stuff into a coherent statement. I was ready for this to go out. It might be delayed a bit because this was my copy to proofread, because I feel like when you print stuff out like this, then you see all the typos. And the spine's broken for sure. That's just how it sits. Wherever it sits like that. There's scribblings on every single page of this now. And actually, not that it means anything, but part of a major inspiration for this book was Robin Mackay, obviously. He was a good friend of mine now. And we worked together doing a lot of urbanomic stuff. And Robin's concept of the Fisher function was central to a lot of what happened that year. And Robin has graciously and also anxiously offered to edit this. So I've done my edits to a certain point. I'm gonna let Robin take a look at it. And once Robin's made his comments and I've acted on those comments, then it'll come out. Because it's typeset, it's all there. It's already about 20 pages longer from just making my edits and a few expansions. So yeah, it's really close to being ready, and I want it to come out before the end of this year. I think it will, which is why I've been non-committal, GJ Michael. I'm up for being on your podcast, but yeah, I'm feeling a bit like Reza in that I'm announced this book. Actually, to be fair, I didn't announce it. I put it on my blog passively, and Justin Murphy signal boosted it when it wasn't ready to be signal boosted. So I blame Justin entirely for all the pressure that's on this book now. But yeah, hopefully it'll be out by the end of the year. That's basically it. I don't know if anyone else has any other questions about it. I'm happy to answer them. A lot of it is, I think half the book is already out. So it was the egress essay, a blog post that I posted in January, and my vast abrupt essay reaching out to the other. That was a massive edit on the second chapter anyway. But that's now been so the first half of it is already in the world, and that's fine. That's kind of what you expect from never sitting on anything and blogging every thought that you have. A lot of what I'm going to probably put out self-published is going to be shit that people have already read in some form, but hopefully this is going to be massively more developed. It's already a lot longer. Everything has been massively progressed, improved, I think, especially the vast abrupt essay. That's extended by a couple of thousand words. So yeah, it will be familiar but very different at the same time, which I hope people are okay with, and people are still excited about it, because I'm excited for it to come out. It's not going to be for profit. I've already said that. I've thought about doing some sort of like book thing. I've already said this before. I'm going to keep saying it because it blows my mind. It's the blog birthday today. It's 1 year old. I checked the word count on the blog today. I've written 250,000 words in the past 12 months, which is fucking ridiculous. But that's just the knowledge that I've done that makes me want to keep doing this sort of shit and try and write more and write books and shit. But in this instance, this is something that I'm just really proud of, and I want to put out in the world as a complete statement rather than a bunch of fragmented blog posts, because in a way that's what it was always. It was always intended to be that. It was always intended to be a statement, and it's now become more diffuse. So I want to piece it back together and put it out. And yeah, hopefully it will be out at cost, because of what it's about. It's not something that I'm comfortable making money off, really. So I just want to make a nice thing. That's it. Yeah. The end. Yeah. Xeno, Ed, are you guys going to write that book together? Yeah, Ed, this is what I talked about before. I said that I don't know if Ed even knows this. I propositioned Ed a few months back that we should write a book together, and we were both very enthusiastic about the idea. I was very drunk when I suggested that idea, and in the morning after, felt awful. Not about the idea, but just because I was hungover, and I think that put an immediate dampener on the suggestion. But I'd love to write a book with Ed. Ed's a genius. Also, what's it going to be about? I don't know. Patchwork? Maybe we'll have to see. Yeah, ask me some questions while I go to the bathroom. Just going to announce that now. Okay. Let's see what's happening. My leg is completely asleep. Oh. What's happening in the chat? Oh, hey, Michael James. Good to see you. It was rather toasty when I propositioned as well. Okay, well, that's good to know. I don't feel quite so embarrassed about that now. But I mean, it is a good idea. Dark Alien Capital Invasion. Patchwork from London to Kentucky. We could finally have a text on Patchwork more definitive than the Mold Book e-book. I think that's the plan, right? We need to get some shit out there that yeah, overtakes that whole mess. I'd be totally game. I doubt it would be until next year. My life is in tatters. Want to write a book about communism, to be honest. That sounds great. I mean, that's also part of the issue with me here. I was saying this early on in the stream that I feel like I'm always get really paranoid about the fact that I write so much ends up makes people assume that I have a lot of time on my hands when really I write every spare moment that I get, usually on the bus to work or on my lunch break, or sometimes at work when I should be doing other things. But it's not a relaxed process. It's always by the skin of my pants, just like doing it when I can. I'm now getting laughed at from the bedroom. Shut up. Yeah, skin in my pants. That's what I'm calling it. But yeah, it doesn't work that way. So any long-term, long-form projects that I'd like to engage with never quite happen as they should do. Okay, let's catch up with the chat. Snack work, yummy. Snack work is, I think, what I do most of the time. That's what blogging is. That's snack work. Delicious disintegration, acid work. Wish Mark had more time to write about it. He wrote a lot about it. This is what. So I think I posted about this on the blog before. I've been at a reading group with Laura Grace Ford, who Mark wrote about her in Ghost of My Life, and apparently, according to her, he was going to write about her again in Acid Communism. She's lovely. She's so nice. She's such a great artist, and she's running a Acid Communist reading group at the moment. She was with Mark throughout a lot of 2015, and she says that he had a lot of time on his hands that year for whatever reason, and that's when he did lots of the research. And a lot of essays that came out of that time are out in the world. Like, we don't have Acid Communism as a book, but a lot of the ideas that Mark was talking about and exploring are out there in various forms, in various different essays. So it is a project that can realistically be reconstructed, sort of in reverse. So we have the Acid Communism intro, which is coming out in this new K-Punk volume on Repeater, as like the last statement on it. And I guess that's true of anything, right? You always write the intro last. So the intro's there, and then you can work backwards from there and go through loads of Mark's other essays, like Post-Capitalist Desire, Baroque Sunbursts, a bunch of other stuff, and lots of stuff that was written but ended up being unpublished in things for other sort of stuff. So Axon writes, what's the best Acid Communism intro? The best one is Mark's, and that's going to come out in November. I'm drunk enough to say, stay the fuck away from Jeremy Gilbert. The guy has no idea what he's talking about. Jeremy Gilbert needs to piss off, frankly. Getting coughed at. No one likes Jeremy Gilbert, and that's public knowledge. Everyone that likes Jeremy Gilbert is wrong. Someone's saying we have such a nice apartment. Yeah, okay. She says she knows. It's true. This is all of my girlfriend's work, who I won't name dox on the channel. But yeah, it's yeah. Well, she says thank you. I'll take no credit for that at all. Displace the right wing for sure. I'm not sure why, but I feel like the archipelago stuff might be more widely read than Mulbugs in a non-weird internet world. That's interesting because I mean I like that essay. So is it Scott Alexander or is that who you mean? Oh, and that's the Slate Codex, whatever. Yeah, Scott Alexander. I really like that essay. As much as he is like going off against the left in a lot of ways, I think he's kind of positioning himself in that way. That essay that's what got me hooked more than Moldbug, to be fair. So that makes sense. That was Peter Owen. Goldfire. Also, you and Nix should co-host one of these radio shows. I've suggested this to her. I want to do a thrash metal one. She wants to do a weird radio show thing too. She used to do a radio show when she was younger. I did not know that. Nix is beautiful. Nix is like an absolute diamond of a person. I want to work, like, I would love to do something with Nix. That needs to happen. You need to talk to CDV. He helped publish X and the Vampire. Who's CDV? I don't know who that is. Is Jeremy Gilbert the guy that wrote that weird thing? Jeremy Gilbert, right? Everything that Jeremy Gilbert has written about, he's the acid Corbynism guy. And he wrote a weird My Friend Mark obituary that was just 20 pages of narcissism. The guy's an asshole. Nix needs to come on my damn pod too. Been promising for 6 months. Arg. Yeah, that's fair enough. People, our lives, as much as a lot of us are on the internet a lot, our lives are not. Our lives are in tatters, as Ed put it. Yeah, I've come on this. I've come straight home from work and jumped on the beers and on this podcast. Usually, I just like will sit and not do a whole lot. Energy is low. Don't take it personal. People's lives in the blogosphere, I take it, are unfortunately busy, despite online activeness. Oh, see Derek Van. I have no idea. Oh, North Star. Oh, amazing. Okay. Yeah, I don't know who that is. I mean, I know I know North Star. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I should reach out. Nix is the single greatest living human being, and that is a fact. I agree. Didn't mind his book on 90s anti-globalism. Is that Jeremy Gilbert? I don't know. I've met him. I met him in person once at what was maybe one of what he did one of Mark's classes after Mark died. The people at Ghostman tried to continue the course with friends of Mark, and Jeremy did one on the 70s, and he had a cold, which meant everyone gave him the benefit of the doubt. But if you take away the fact he had a cold, he was an arsehole. And then everything he's published since then has revealed him to be more of an arsehole, who basically says that all of Mark's ideas are his own, and that he gave Mark the idea of acid communism, when everything that Mark was already writing about, you can trace it back in a straight line to the CCRU. Mark was putting it he was reformulating it, and Jeremy Gilbert may have helped Mark with a lot of references to 60s and 70s politics, but Jeremy needs to drop his ego and back off, because he's the vision that he is giving of what Mark was working on is very much his own and very much shit. So that's the less said about that, the better. Let's not talk about Jeremy Gilbert anymore. Yeah. What else you got? Does anyone want to hear any more music? Got any throbbing gristle? Yeah. Okay, I'll put on one throbbing gristle song because. No, that's not Helen. That's someone called Zach Palmer. I don't know if you can hear from the gut. Who's? Oh shit! Hi, I'm a G Otok. Who are you? What do you do? Where are you from? What's your Twitter handle? Give me context. I'm back on the floor. Okay, we're going to put on some Throbbing Gristle. I'll give you a tour of my Throbbing Gristle first. What exactly is Slate Style Codex? I don't really get that whole letter wrong. I don't know either. Slate Style Codex's archipelago text was in the infamous Patchwork Reader. I don't know much about him besides his writing on archipelago politics, which I think is only because he was listed. He was in the reader for Nick Land's geopolitics course at NCRAP. Okay, here we go. 20 Just for Greats, of course, one of the best album covers ever. Throbbing Gristle's Greatest Hits with Cozy Fanny Tutti. I think this was reissued recently. This is like an original pressing. Cozy's a legend. I know Cozy vaguely. I've written about it on the blog ages ago. I love Throbbing Gristle because they are from my hometown. And they did Hull, for anyone who's from England. Hull was the City of Culture in 2017. When that was announced, I did a one-man Twitter campaign to have a Coombe Transmissions exhibition, which actually caught up a fair bit of steam. And it ended up being a complete mess and was taken over by the lovely folks at the Quietus. But I was very grateful to get a nod from them for instigating things when the show took place last year. And yeah, I went back to Hull, went to 2 weekends of the exhibition, and had a lovely chat with 2 lovely chats with Cozy. We got to know each other really well. Well, not really well, but well enough as you can in 2 weekends. And yeah, I ended up going to the book launch of her book launch in Rough Trade East. Got a lovely signed copy of Sex, Music, Art, which is an amazing book. Totally recommend that. My other piece of Throbbing Gristle memorabilia is the Discipline 12-inch with 2 live renditions of Discipline in Manchester and Birmingham, which I'm very glad that I own this. Yeah, big Throbbing Gristle fan. But I'm going to put on Persuasion whilst we'll maybe rack up some questions in the chat, because... Or should I? Okay, let's see what we got. Persuasion's my favorite track on 20 Just for Greats because... No, not Persuasion. Yeah, no, it is Persuasion. There's the refrain. I'm just going to play it and we'll talk about it after. We'll talk about Throbbing Gristle more. In the meantime, ask me shit before I go to bed.
Look at me, I touch your breast. Look at me, I touch your knee. And I persuade you, like always, I persuade you. Like always, I persuade you. Persuasion. Look at me, I touch your head.
For context, the reason that I love this song so much is that there's a refrain that I'm kind of waiting for. No, you go away for it. It doesn't make sense unless you hear it in context.
Everything I want them with persuasion. One lot of persuasion. Like always, persuasion. Now there's lots of ways to persuade you. I could do it with money. I could look at you. I could show you all that. You might as well do it anyway. You might as well choose to play the game. After all, you've seen yourself before. What difference does it make? What difference if I take a photograph? What difference does it make now? Someone else sees it too. Oh, all your friends do it. I mean, no one will know it's you. Anybody. It could be anybody. I mean, those magazines, you know, they only go to middle-aged men. So why don't you just do what I suggest? I persuade you with words. I persuade you. Persuasion. I got a little biscuit tin to keep your panties in. I got a little biscuit tin to keep your panties in. Soiled panties, white panties, school panties, white rug panties. By the
So the reason that's my favorite Throbbing Gristle song is because of that little refrain. I've got a little biscuit tin to keep your panties in, and it's surprisingly catchy. And when I was a student in South Wales, living in my student house, hanging my washing up on the washing line in the garden, I used to sing that to myself. And I sang it once, and my neighbor overheard. And I've never been more mortified of that fact. And for better or for worse, that phrase is the most. Whenever someone says "throbbing gristle," that is the phrase that will be embedded in my mind. I have a little biscuit tin to keep your panties in. Yeah, getting caught singing TG in public is never good. That is absolutely true. There are far worse songs to be caught singing, and I felt like no, there was no way of making that look good. But yeah, that was a scarring social experience that now is all that comes to mind whenever I play Throbbing Gristle. I'm a G Otok, who I don't. Did you introduce yourself in the chat? I don't know who you are. If you're, it's nice to know who people are. Anyway, you asked, how did I create my blog? Was it spontaneous? Yes. As much as I feel slightly embarrassed to admit it, with all of this like extra academic discourse that we have of like, you know, and not many of us. Well, no, a few of us in the blogosphere are academics, like professionally speaking. Some of us not. I'm not an academic. Some of us are only going to be academics maybe for a short time longer. But the best thing that happened to me for doing my postgraduate degree was the fact that I had to, in writing dissertation, in writing egress, I had to write every single day. I was writing every single day for. Oh no! Oh, sorry. I feel like I don't. Yeah, there's no apologies necessary. I'm just curious. That's fine. But yeah, I had to writing every single day to do a postgraduate dissertation. Was an itch that I did not want to give up. So initially, the blog was just a way to like keep writing and not have to like adhere to some academic professionalism. I didn't want to jump into writing essays for journals, and I'm not interested in doing that. So I wanted to make a blog. I've always had blogs. Most of them are buried. I've had photo blogs for the most part. For like the last one that died off just before I went to Goldsmiths was about 5 years old. I had it from 2010 to 2015, I think. I killed that off to try and be more professional and make it as a photographer. And it was just cringy. It was the wrong thing to do. I regretted doing it. Had like this existential crisis of just being poor and wanting to somehow monetize what I was doing every day. Went into doing try and making a professional photo blog. Stupid idea. Went back to the start and now just blog about philosophy and shit just because it's really nice. It's like a thing to do to keep me sane, to interact with you guys. What did I study? Philosophy. My undergrad was in photography. I finished a photography degree in 2013. Tried to be a photographer with, well, reasonable success in terms of exposure, not in terms of making money, for about 3 years. Got disillusioned, disheartened. Tried to keep writing in that time. My writing was not appreciated by anyone that I was writing at, mostly people that were in for the photography industry. Got called pretentious a lot and all that shit, and was like, maybe I'm just not very good. Decided I want to go to do a postgrad degree in contemporary art theory at Goldsmiths University to study with Mark and Kojo. Mainly because I wanted to work with Mark, I wanted to work with Kojo, and I wanted to write better. And it didn't quite work out that way. I think it definitely improved my writing, but it was also a shit show of a year for all sorts of reasons. And the blog was just an excuse to keep the habit up. And I've definitely kept the habit up, for better and for worse. I'm gonna play another Throbbing Gristle song, because why not? And I think it helps fill in the time between. I feel like this is like a live curious cat. I'm like, I don't know how many beers I've had, but I'm an open book. If you want to ask your shit, now is the time. 6660s is a good track. I'm gonna internet. You asked a question. I'll answer your question in a sec. I'm going to put on another track, not from 20 Good Jazz Funk Greats, from the greatest hits. Rack your questions up before the next track is over, and I will come back to you then. And feel free to ask whatever you want. I mean, okay, so instances, is there an academic next step? Yeah, I mean, I'm currently a off the books PhD student, I guess. But that's kind of come out of blogging. I want to write more about, I'm not going to write about patchwork, but I want to write about the relationship between subjectivity, geopolitics, and the Gothic. I have no funding though, but thankfully I have, you know, nice enough friends to say, well, I applied for a PhD at Goldsmiths, got into the program but had no funding, bailed out after 2 hours, and they said just come anyway. So I'm an off the books PhD student for now. What do I want to do for a living? Oh God, Michael James, nice to see you, by the way. I don't know what I want to do for a living. I work in the arts. I'll play this track and we'll rack up some questions because I could keep going, but I want to play this One Throbbing Gristle song. But keep them coming because that's a lot to go over. 6660s is actually on here. This, but I'm going to play United.
Can't stop it.
Feels awkward sitting here with music playing. I'm going to work backwards. And thank you for the questions. It saves me sitting here in silence, I guess. Axon, we had a whole. I'll see how I feel in the morning. I was going to delete this stream, but we'll see how I feel. We had a whole conversation about tattoos, which was maybe one of the first questions we had. They are ring band tattoos, and this is the last tattoo I ever got about 3-4 years ago, right next to the first, which was a Enzo. There are others hidden amongst my person, but we won't talk about those. Peter Owen is Machine Sympathy. Peter Owen, nice to see you. I know your Twitter handle. I recognize it. Thanks for joining us, for sure. How did the whole patchwork debate even begin? The patchwork debate was going on for a while. People were talking about it. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's fair to say that hey, no, don't apologize for being late. There's nothing to apologize for. This is not a very well scheduled program. The patchwork debate was already going on. I was reading stuff from Ed, Amy Island, Vince Garten, and I mean, someone can challenge me on this, and that's absolutely fine. I feel like I started the public mayhem of it all with a post I wrote in January called State Decay, which was inspired by one of Robin McKay's lectures at Goldsmiths for a course that he was doing that I secretly sat in on last year. And Robin said that the left and the right have two. What did he say? He said that the left and the right have two different approaches to contemporary politics, to identity politics, right? So the left has an identity politics, which is fragmentation of the subject. So the proliferation of genders, of political ideologies, of whatever else. I mean, not to dismiss the proliferation of genders, but that the stereotype of the left is that identity politics, I guess, is sexuality is the stereotype, right? So you've got a million different sexualities, and not to judge that either way, but what you see on the left is a proliferation of identity. On the right, what you see is a proliferation of backtrack. What Robin said, I just remembered, was the left and the right are both concerned with the problem of difference. The left deals with difference, wants to do with difference along the lines of subjectivity through identity politics, and the right wants to do with difference in spatial terms through whatever the right gets up to with its whole. There was the re-emergence of politics of nation states, ethno-states, and all that sort of stuff. Patchwork is generally been known for being more on the right side of things, but what interested me was that a lot of my research at the time was dealing with the fact that subject and state are inseparable. Each shapes the other, or at least from a class political perspective, the state, through the process of subjection, forms the subject. So if we have these two spheres in politics at the moment, of the right being thinking in terms of the spatial, the left thinking in terms of identity politics, what's diagonal? And patchwork seems to be a way of thinking that diagonal between space and identity. So the first post that I wrote in January called State Decay, which was Kant, Bataille, and Patchwork, was a way of thinking through this diagonal of the subject and subjection and state, and the dissolving of the state being the right-wing spatial politics being inherently tied to a left-wing identity politics. So the dissolution of the state and dissolution of the subject being, at the moment, two extremes that are actually inherently related in the history of geopolitics. So that was the start of my research, and that is where I've continued to write about, and that has gotten me into all sorts of trouble and has ended up spawning, 1,000 debates have bloomed. So I can't take, I feel like I can take credit for starting it off publicly as a debate this year. But my take is massively influenced by what Ed was writing about, Amy has been writing about, and Vince has been writing about. And a lot of what those three have been writing about is not public yet, or especially with Amy. Amy's stuff's amazing. And she had her essay out that she published on her blog fairly recently. But there's an essay of Amy's that's a really long, it's like 10,000 words plus, an essay that she shared that I won't talk anymore about because I don't think it's meant to be secret. But Amy's work on this is incredible. And she is the patchwork queen. And Nyx too. Nyx's stuff is brilliant on this. Her lesbian RX stuff is totally folded within this, that same diagonal argument. That diagonal argument is the key. And I think it's a necessary argument to explore, but it's also it's opening yourself up to some trouble, obviously. So I think that's where it started, and it's kind of diverged from that central point since. What's Amy's Twitter? Amy's Twitter is it starts with a Q, and it's some bunch of letters. Her username is like squares and stuff. She's got a solid yellow avatar. Amy's the genius behind lots of this stuff. What else is there in the chat? Michael James asked, what do I want to do for a living? I don't know. I work in exhibitions at the moment. That's my day job for most of the week, 3 days a week, related to photography, because that's where all my experience is, and I don't like it. I'd rather blog for a living. If any of you'd be open to funding me on Patreon, that would be amazing, and you'd massively improve my mental health. But I won't put that pressure on you. That's fine. No, I'm pissed and joking, but I'd love to blog for a living, is what I'm trying to say. Writing would be amazing, but how you want to do that in this day and age, I have no idea. Without going insane, I don't think you can do anything for a living without it ruining it. I've learned this the hard way in trying to be a photographer. I did photography as my undergrad because I liked to do it. It's a physical thing that I like doing. I always liked philosophy and I always liked thinking. Photography was like the trade that I enjoyed doing, and then that was shit. So I did philosophy instead, and turns out that was also has the same problems. As soon as you get into professionalizing anything, it takes the fun out of it. You've got to make a living how you can and have fun the rest of the time. Chris and Axon and Peter, yes, that is a handle. Goldfire, welcome back. The diagonal argument is the diagonal argument of patchwork, which is that the right wing deals with difference in terms of space. The left wing deals with difference in terms of identity politics. And patchwork is a diagonal argument between the two, which is necessary moving forwards for me. That's where this patchwork argument started for me. And that was the initial inspiration. And it has spun out in a million different directions. But that was the core. And it's very difficult to bring it back to that. I actually forgot about that. It might be worth coming back to that point, because I've been chatting to Reza, or I chatted to Reza very briefly on email earlier this week, and he was sending me some very Reza recommendations of reading that are very systematic, very analytical, very engineering. And it's all relevant, obviously, but it's a million miles away from where I personally started in terms of thinking about this stuff. Ed says, the second I do anything for pay, it becomes the most tedious thing in the world. Totally understand. Yes. Yeah, totally. I think I blog so much because it's my outlet that I don't get paid for. It's my salvation from my day job. It's nice to have a thing to work on that I don't get paid for. At the same time, it's like yeah, it's the impossibility of like, this is what I love to do, and I'd love to get paid for it. And at the same time, don't pay me for it because you'll ruin it. It's the catch-22 of writing. I think it's impossible. To be fair, contributing something on Patreon is basically like buying a couple of pints. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think Nick's did it really well, and then Nick started the Patreon, and it's hers is a Patreon that I really want to contribute to, because she has like a purpose. Like I don't really need the money. Like I have a day job and that pays my bills, and I'm not well off by any means, but I'm comfortable. I can survive in this city on what I make from my day job or day jobs. I have two. And that's fine. Like that makes me feel like I don't want to ask for any more money, but like at the same time, I almost wish that the blog could pay for itself so that I could spend more time on it and like do longer, more in-depth posts, make better content. That stuff's difficult without it being paid for, but you know, at the same time, I didn't start it for money. So it feels sort of shitty to like have some sort of like reasonable success in the blogosphere and then start charging for something that I started for free. Like I'm not about that. So I'm not going to start charging for my blog or anything. That's like obscene to me. But, you know, it's the catch-22 that it would be lovely to take the pressure off so I could do more of it. Yeah. Peter Owen, so long as you don't start thinking about whether what you're writing would be good for Patreon. Well, yeah, totally. That's never going to be a factor. I couldn't. Yeah, if I was to have a Patreon, it would not. I'd never restrict any content. If I was ever going to offer anything for Patreons, it would be physical stuff, and that's kind of why I'm interested at the moment in doing like fun merch, like making tea towels, or I actually want to make a back patch. I'm waiting to learn how to use a sewing machine so I can like, I've got this nice denim jacket that I want to cover in patches that I've been collecting. I want to save up and get a Xenogothic back patch, have that in the center. I don't know who would buy those. I don't know who would buy tea towels either. But it feels like if I'm gonna make any money from writing this stuff, I want to have something, you know, I want to give something back that's physical, that's like real world material shit that people can have like souvenirs from doing that shit. Like I'd never be able to charge for digital content because that just feels like bullshit. But it's, you know, it's an interesting question. I was chatting to Justin about this actually recently. He was sort of asking about, I think Justin's getting to the space with his live stream that we are obviously clashing with, that he wants to, you know, try and monetize that because, I mean, you know, he might need that. And why not? You know, he's being successful with what he's doing. But YouTube is a different, I think monetizing YouTube is a different, it's a very different game to WordPress. I'm not going to start monetizing my blog because that's not what it's about. But yeah, if anyone wants to buy books or t-shirts or anything else, I feel better about doing that and maybe charging, like, you know, having a bit of a margin, so that, you know, I can make some money back that at least pays for the blog. I'm much more comfortable doing that than whatever else. When will you continue with communism's ontology? Has there been a second part that I missed? No, that's another huge, that's a project that's getting folded into my current off the books PhD. I've not let that go. That's very much a part of what I'm still thinking about. When we'll get around to writing about that on the blog is another question. Because yeah, to be honest, I write stuff as it comes. I don't tend to spend more than a week on a post. At best, most of what I post, I write in a day. If I'm going to spend more time on it, and it will just snowball and become a massive thing. And the communist ontology is part of that. That's a huge project that is very much present, but has kind of snowballed and become bigger than the blog. And hopefully that'll come out at some point, but I'm kind of sitting on it for now until it's like good and ready. But it's definitely there. Hopefully that'll be soon. I need to get back to that. I've got too many threads. That's the problem. I'm trying to tackle a like, you should see my drafts folder. My drafts folder is a fucking anxiety attack waiting to happen. Goldfire, Justin will be the Joe Rogan of Cage Twitter and it will be glorious. He already is. No comment on whether that's glorious or not. Peter Owen, surely he should be happy with just our expression of respect. Is that me or Justin? Justin wants more than that. I'm happy with. I mean, it's lovely to be sat here almost 3 hours into a stream and be chatting to 14 people. That's lovely. It's lovely to be chatting to you lot. So, I mean, that's definitely enough for me. Xenogoth, hoodie would be rad. Hoodie, for sure. T-shirts are first in my mind because they're cheaper. Hoodies are a bit more expensive. And the problem with clothing, I definitely want to do clothes. But the problem with that is sizes. So I feel like I'd have to do like I could do a run of like 25 t-shirts. I have to have like 5 of each size. Print on demand is like way too expensive for that sort of shit for you guys anyway. I'd rather like pay up front. And yeah, like I don't know, make things like reasonably cheap. Hoodies are like totally the plan though. Like I'm buying so many metal t-shirts at the moment for like inspiration. Like I've taken pictures like this, and like I want to put them on a t-shirt with a logo. Like shout out to Matt the Stoat for making the logo that I have on my blog at the moment is one of 3. The guy's like a genius. I've got shit to share for sure. Yeah, what's the PhD in? The Gothic and the history of the Gothic and geopolitics in England is what I'm going with for now. Bigger than that, obviously. Well, that's big enough. I meant Justin. That's cool. I mean, if you respect but no, let's not go into Justin. What's happened to that guy recently? It's fascinating, but also a mess. Aaron Crawford, lovely to see you, my friend. Underwear, DM me. Maybe we'll sort out like a one-off situation. By the way, your hair is looking good, fam. Very stylish. I very much appreciate that. Thank you. I'm growing it out. I get one haircut a year. And yeah, I discovered this like only a couple of years ago. I had a very overbearing mother as a child and never grew my hair out ever. And I grew my hair out for the first time when I was like 23. Like I broke the habit and realized that I have all these weird curls, and then I keep it growing, and I end up getting it down to here. And I look like fucking. I like to think I look like bloody Jon Snow. I get the Jon Snow heckle when my hair's long. I get the Jon Snow from Game of Thrones heckle weekly, which is kind of ridiculous, but that's the aim. I don't feel like a very good goth without good long hair, but it's not very manageable. I have the very thick hair. I'm going to stop talking about my hair. Do I use pomade? A little bit. Because yeah, this shit is thick, and it's very quickly goes into like Afro territory. If I don't like calm it, I'm amazed that I'm giving hair tips now. This is very off-brand. I could use Teespring. I need to look into Teespring, I think. But I want to, like, this is the thing, like, it's the thing with the book too, like with Egress, like, I can do this print on demand. But, like, I want the quality to be good. I don't want to, like, be giving people shit that's, like, off of press. I kind of want to, I need to invest some money in it that I don't have to, like, I don't know, make good quality stuff. I'm getting coughed at. Hello? Is that a cough to tell me to stop? Too shy to say yes on the live stream. Okay. 10 minutes, and then I need to go to bed. I did say that an hour ago. That's true. Corpse paint makeup tutorial live stream. Yeah. My idea for this stream was to do corpse paint and also like put on a birthday hat. And I couldn't find a birthday hat, so the whole thing would feel like a bit extra with just corpse paint. So many ideas, so little time. Is anyone here doubled up with Justin Murphy and the Xenogothic live stream? Does anyone know how Justin's chat's going? I said that I would like drunkenly heckle, and that's not going to happen at this point. But I'd be interested to know. Actually, no, don't tell me how it's going. He's definitely got more of an audience than I do. Gullfire's in there. Okay, Gullfire's got both tabs open. How's it going? Give us the cliff notes. What's Justin up to? Has he been torn apart for his fash communism yet? Which I say lovingly, in a way. I like Justin, but his patch idea is awful. He's arguing with someone about IQ. Of course he is. Okay, let's not. I'm happy to leave him to it. It's we're gonna. It's exactly what you think it's like. Well, I think we all know what Justin's streams are like by now. I feel like this is what I thought tonight might be like a huge success because maybe I'm like a wild card. No one knows what it's like to spend 3 hours in just my company. And now you know. Not that there's any competition going on. Yeah, no, not at all. It's nice. This or Justin, or both. He's in the chat with a weird Chapo tier guy, and it's awful. They unironically use SJWs. When are you doing this again? We need this. Hey, well, you know, this actually was really nice. I'm totally up for doing this again. Yeah, this is really cool. I don't know. I need to like plan this better. Justin's got his like Discord. He's got his shit going on. I didn't plan this. I just thought I've had this blog for a whole year, and that felt like something to celebrate. So that's what we've done. Can I repeat the fact that it's 250,000 words? 260,000 words in 12 months. That's what I'm drinking to. That's insane. But you know, I'm totally up for doing this again. There we are. Yeah, isn't Nishiki in here? Nishiki was liking my post before. Nishiki, say hey. But yeah, let's definitely do this again. That'll be great. My prediction that I made a few months ago is finally coming true. All of Cave Twitter will become a hub of podcasts and streams. Yeah, this is the thing about Cave Twitter. Okay, Cave Twitter has fragmented, or there was like a chasm that opened up in Cave Twitter that was like totally unexpected, but at the same time, Cave Twitter has always been really sparse. And it's kind of like it's I think that's kind of a good thing. Like there was this weird moment that people would they would have hashtag Cave Twitter in their bios that weren't in the caves. And the caves were always this kind of space just for like planning cool shit. And as much as I love time in the caves, I'm glad that things are kind of diffusing out a bit. There's been a bit of a drama in that sort of stuff. Nick's got treated like shit for reasons that I don't understand still, and that was a major thing for me. In that, well, I'm not going to gossip about it, but yeah, people that like fragmented off from Cave Twitter was shit about it unnecessarily. You could just say like you're not into that shit anymore and leave. Like that's fine. But yeah, didn't need to be that way. And I think that's probably for the best. We can all keep doing our own shit and have fun doing it. I think it's time for me to go. Thank you very much for swinging by. And yeah, let's definitely do this again sometime. It took a while to get going because I don't know what I'm doing, but music was a good choice. I think me sitting here should be a thing that we do again soon, at more convenient times. And yeah, I'll have some topics next time. I'm waiting to invest in a microphone for the radio shows mostly. But instead, maybe I'll end up sounding a lot like Justin. Next time, I'm gonna try and not clash with his show, but also not be in competition. But also, maybe that's the whole vibe. We'll have patch pods. Is that good or is that really cursed? I don't know. Okay, patch pods is what I'm calling it. Yeah, hopefully I'll get another microphone and you can hear what I'm playing properly and you can hear me better and yeah, whatever. Patch pods does sound like an 80s toy. Yeah. That is very blessed. Okay. I don't know if that's a vote for and a vote against or it's 2 votes for. Either way, patch pods is the new unofficial name for whatever. I've coined it. Patch pods is a thing. Lovely to spend time with you all. Thank you for those of you in the chat. Thanks for those who have kept me going ranting for 3 hours this evening. You're all amazing. I love you. Thank you very much for spending the time. I would not be here without you. And I very much enjoy chatting to you all. And even though I don't know what you all look like, I feel very soppy today in terms of just getting to spend time because, yeah, I wouldn't write into a void. It's nice to be read and it's nice to be talked to. And more than anything, I appreciate the responses. So, yeah, thank you. And hopefully we'll do this again soon. Bye.